Yo, what's the deal, YouTube? I ain't even gonna lie. I have been missing y'all boys. I know I haven't really been active, but I promise y'all that's really about to change. As in, like, I'm coming into like my full body. Like, I'm getting comfortable on here, like in front of the camera. Like, once you realize it's just a camera, it'd be, everything else kind of transition after that. But daily uploads are about to start coming, so be on the look for that. We gonna come with spiritual, we gonna come with positivity, we gonna come with good energy, all good energy, that's what we push in 2025. So make sure you leave a like, make sure you give a comment on this video if y'all got any questions, any topics y'all want me to discuss rather than the world and being myself. I am gonna do a story time to get better, so y'all can get better like understanding of who I am for real. But other than that, man, I think like today is what I wanted to really rap with y'all about is understanding, or not even understanding, but the reality of those two, the challenges of life, and how it's two ends of the stick, but it's the same result. And what I meant by that is, people talk about the movie Matrix a lot. I've never personally seen the movie, but I know exactly, like, not exactly, but I know kind of like what general basis on it. Two people get a pill, you either take this pill or you could take that pill, and it leads to, both of them, it's pick your poison basically. And a lot of people say that transition into life. And I genuinely think it does. Having been a small city kid from my town, you understand the challenges of getting out of that and coming into a new form, but you understand that challenge. And it's not until you understood that challenge when you win it, it's until you get out of it when you understand like that escape. I think that it's just I personally feel that people they are comfortable with being comfortable. Like they're comfortable with staying where they at. It's hard. People always say it's easy to do the hard thing, but it's hard to do it's hard to do the easy thing. I'm sorry. People say it's easy to do the wrong thing, but it's hard to do the right thing. There we go. but yeah, I think that that's ultimately what people decide to choose nowadays. Like people would rather choose that. People would rather take that pill on the side of being comfortable instead of being uncomfortable. And I think that what I separate myself at is understanding that breakthrough level, or that door that you kind of gotta breach through if you want to accomplish anything in life. You know what I'm saying? Like me being an introvert and me not really like having friends. I don't really have too much friends. I got a best friend. I call him my brother. But other than that, like me not being on social media, me not really having too much like a reach to too many people. Like you kind of collect yourself in solitude. You read books, you keep up with the economy, stuff like that, stocks. So you kind of embrace that feeling of being like that introvert and not being with everybody, that comfortable side of like wanting to fit in. You kind of break away from that, and that's kind of what I've done. And I've seen people, my colleagues of mine, they having trouble with that comfortability phase. Everybody is content. Like for example, if I was to ask you, if I was to take your living situation, or if somebody was to take your situation, right, and they was to expand that by 10, right? For example, you got $10 in your bank account, they expand it and you get $100,000 in your bank account. A lot of people automatically assume that they would know what to do. But, it's a saying that goes, and it says, it goes like, whatever you become, if you get more of it, you just become more of that. So if you're a drinker, if you get more money, you're only just gonna become a drinker that has more money. You're not gonna all of a sudden switch that leaf and turn over and be like, yo, I'm a changed product now because I got money. Like, no, that's never. You gotta do those deep rootings beforehand, before God gives you those worldly blessings. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do the intermediate work. You gotta do the spiritual work for real. So I think that ultimately people just don't want to do the spiritual work within themselves. They just want all of the abundance that people come in. Ultimately, I think that is the pill that people just would rather choose to swallow. But I'm here to tell you, like, at the end of the day, I feel like you're only going to get comfortable by getting uncomfortable. You know, where you at right now, like you've done that, you accomplished that, you've been at that phase. You know, you're familiar with that phase, but what about that other phase? You know, like what about the dreams you got? What about that car you want? What about that apartment you need to get? What about relationships you need to build? Like it's so much, but it requires, but it's like, you know, so many people rely on the other, you know, human voice, or some other people rely on the other human spirits to kind of be that how can I say this? They kind of leave that in other people's hands because they're so content with being like, you know, forget it. But at the end of the day, you're only going to be as successful as you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable. The more you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable, the more prosperous you'll be. Because at the end of the day, chances does make champions. And if you're going to continue, if you want to live a very fruitful life, like, yeah, you can work the 9 to 5. Like, you ain't got to be nothing spectacular. Like, you ain't. But what I'm saying is, you got to have a level of uncomfortability that you are okay with embracing, you know, because that's what it is. Like, it's seasons to everything. You know, sometimes you have a very good season where the world feels like it's never going to fall down until it actually falls down. That's what life is, you know. So, and some people can't handle that, but I feel like ultimately when you just, in a sense, when you kind of, in a sense, get that feel for life, and you kind of get that algorithm, and you understand the flow of life and how to just kind of slow it down for real. Me being a former athlete, I like putting I like referencing basketball analogies to real life, because that's really what it is. Like, my coach talked about slowing the game down. You know, I was a point guard, and he talked about, you know, once you slow the game down, you have way more control over it, and that's predicated really to life. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody go. It was a stat that I read. It was like 70% of Americans are living their life with no type of awareness of what's going on around them, you know. And me, I'm always so conscious that I have to like be engaged on what's going on around me. Like, I even sometimes have that temptation to try to control things around me, when you also, but when you have to understand that you can only control what is going on in your void. You know, your God, you can only control your body counter, your body parts. So trying to control others, or trying to just control things that's just out of your control, is just, you have to really watch out for that, because there's people that do that, you know, some people of power, people of status, anything. But when you ultimately have that self-discipline and that self-control of yourself, then all of it comes around. But that self-discipline, getting all of that takes swallowing of the pill, of the blue pill. You know what I'm saying? It's the red pill and the blue pill. You know, the red pill is that comfortable pill where you can take, smoke, you know, you can drink, you can go do the same things that you know that's going to keep you right where you at today. You know what I'm saying? But that you know, that blue pill, you take that blue pill, it may be a little bit, you may feel a little different, you know, because at the end of the day, you taking these steps to the next level that may be big for you, you know. So at the end of the day, you want to keep track of that. You don't want to reach an altitude. You know, you don't want to stay at this altitude that you at for never too long. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pride myself on steady climbing. Like, I always say it's better to have slow motion instead of no motion. If you broke down, mean you poor. But if you poor, that means you gotta have, it's the difference between being poor and broke. You know what I'm saying? It's different. That's a really big difference. And a lot of people out here are really just broke. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like being mad at the world, instead of like, you know, being mad at your job, being mad at something because it didn't go your way, how about you just take a look at yourself? Everybody want to blame. Nobody want to take accountability, or not even accountability, but don't nobody want to be the change. You know, don't nobody want to change the situation. I tell people all the time, like, I don't deal with problems, I deal with solutions. So at the end of the day, if you're gonna come to me with a problem, come to me with some details on how we're gonna solve the problem. Because okay, like, everybody got problems. You can go and you know, you can call your maybe closest friend. And they could probably vent to you all day about their problems. But what I'm saying is, who actually got a solution? Who actually got that financial aid, or that emotional aid, or that, you know, that communicative aid? That everybody needs, you know, something for everything. So what I'm saying is, it's just don't be, just be comfortable without fitting in. You know, we talk about that a lot on this page, being different, and just be comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know, because that's ultimately what's going to prevail us to the top. That's ultimately what's going to prevail you to getting out wherever you at, whatever circumstances you in. Like, that's what's going to prevail you to get out of it. Is, in a sense, seeing what's your dosage, where you at in life, and in a sense knowing that you have to ultimately take a pill to get to reach that next level that you want to be at. Like, that's ultimately where it starts. So I feel like at the end of the day, y'all, we all are in this world, right? We all trying to be the best that we can be. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to have love. Everybody wants to, be able to do anything that they want to do, but to what expense? You have to be able to work. If you're not willing to work, if you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not willing to just change yourself, then at the end of the day, God can't answer your blessings if you just want to be asking instead of don't want to give. You know what I'm saying? You got to give to get, for real. And it's not even a standpoint of giving. You don't got to give money. You ain't got to give. You can give advice. You can give happiness. You can give a lot, but when you just don't, when you just a person that asks, or when you just a person that just wants to be given to, then it's like, people don't do it. People don't make it that far, in a sense, when you ask and when you trying to make your foundation like that. So ultimately, y'all, just keep thriving, just keep going. If you're in the bad season right now, just make sure that you just keep persevering, because at the end of every tunnel is a light, and I promise you, your light gonna come. But you just gotta keep going though. Right before God about to reveal His biggest blessing to you, that's when people stop. So you gotta remember always why you started, and your why gotta always be bigger than your goal at hand. It gotta be bigger than you, for real. If you really want to do what you want to do, then you gotta put that into action. You gotta put that into context, into the real world. You can't just say that you gotta really want to do it and you gotta want to be it. So it was good rapping with y'all, man. I want to tap back in with y'all in a minute. Like I said, we gonna really be daily with these uploads now. Like I was kind of figuring out like how my YouTube niche, but I figured I found it, man. Like everything's good. The world needs more positivity. The world needs more knowledge. The world needs more mentors. The world needs more everything. So why not be that cause? Why not be that push? Why not be? Because I'm all for that, man. Being an introvert, like I said, I don't talk, and me, the person that's not on social media, I'm not really connected, but I'm connected. I'm just in my own little world. I feel like everybody's over on the social media, over on the side of negative and just things that's not really like relative to me. Everything's relative to somebody. What people, instead of me indulging in on social media all day, I'd rather read, or I'd rather go walk, or I'd rather go work out, some things of like that. So it's just two different atmospheres, or just two different visions on life. You know what I'm saying? I don't never judge nobody. I take my life very personal. So that's why I say I find peace and solitude, but I do, in a sense, want to understand, bring that connection to the world, because at the end of the day, the world can always use positivity. And I mean, if I can help somebody day, or if I can bring a smile, or if I can just help somebody just, see the light at the end of that tunnel, because it is a light, I don't got no problem with it, man. So as always, y'all, stay blessed, stay positive, stay up, and just keep going, man. At the end of the day, it's us. It's gonna be a long ride to the top, but at the end of the day, it's a slow grind, not a fast grind. You know what I'm saying? The cream always rises to the top. So until we meet again, I'll see y'all boys in a minute.